maybe the refs in Sunday's game for the Carolina Panthers decided to, you know what? Let's just box up this day and go home. Because the officiating wasn't great in Sunday's game against the Green Bay Packers. 33-30 loss. Panthers fall to 2-13 on the season. But you know what? I'm not going to focus on that, because if this team was a playoff team or pushing for a playoff spot, that would be a much bigger topic of conversation. But let's be real. This Carolina Panthers team isn't. 3 things that stood out to me from that Panthers game, that 33-30 loss against the Green Bay Packers. Bryce looked good. Call it what it is. Bryce Young looked good. Now, if you look at the stats, 312 yards, couple touchdowns, no turnovers, got sacked a couple times. Look at those overall numbers, like, wow, okay, first time over 250 yards passing, first time over 300 yards passing. The offense put up 30 points. And they had to do it where the defense didn't force a turnover to help maybe set you up for a short field, which, let's be real, sometimes you look at offensive stats like, okay, well, how is your defense helping you set up those scores? Sometimes, for example, an offense puts up 30-plus points in a game, and 7 of those came because the defense gets an interception, takes it back to the 15-yard line or whatever it might be. You get a short field, boom, touchdown. Just look at last night's game between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers as an example. But yes, I get it. Let's go Bryce Young. Phenomenal yesterday. Yeah, they're playing Green Bay, who's been terrible on defense of late. But you still had to make the throws, still had to stand there in the pocket, still had to drive the ball, still had to make the throws, making several on the run. Bryce Young looked the most under control we've seen him all season. Chris Tabor, the interim head coach, actually talked about, hey, what'd you see specifically out of Bryce Young on this day?
Thought they played well. That was evident. I thought our quarterback played well the whole game. I thought our receivers played well the whole game. They made tough, contested catches. You're watching a group grow. And as I said, and as I stood up here last week, those guys made plays. You saw it carry over today. And what we talked about is since you did that, that was the standard. So now that's what you're chasing. And I thought today they took the standard, they met it, and then they moved it up some more. So that's good for us because, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And I know that's all coach speak, but that's real. And I saw a bunch of guys get better today.
It is a lot of coach speak, the whole getting better or getting worse type thing. Sometimes you could stay the same. But nonetheless, Bryce Young on that offense took it to another level. He handled the chaos well. Let's be real. There were still throws he had to make under pressure. Multiple times he had to roll out of the pocket and deliver the football. A couple passes to DJ Chark on the run, one to Adam Thielen where his arm was getting held down by Jair Alexander, I think is who it was, in coverage against him. Made a one-handed catch on the run through a second touchdown pass to DJ Chark, who toe-tapped along the sidelines. DJ toe-taps. Now, was he perfect? Far from it. Far from it. But he truly had a game where you said, okay, there it is. There's what we wanted to see out of the number 1 overall pick. There is something that you as a Panthers fan can look and say, there it is. At least there's something. Now there's still going to be doubters. Totally fine. It's one game. We'll dive into a little of this more at football at 4. Still one game, though. Got to back it up the next time. The second thing for the Panthers game. So first, Bryce Young looked great. Second thing, defense was a letdown. I was really hoping the defense would back up their game against Atlanta with a strong showing against Green Bay. But, man, Green Bay just moved up and down the field at will, especially the first half. First 4 drives for the Green Bay Packers, 3 of the drives touchdowns, another one a field goal. And the final drive ended up just being, the time just kind of ran out on them. It was like a Hail Mary and all that down the field. That was it. That was just the end of the half because just time ran out. That was the first half. It was the first time all season that Green Bay had a receiver or a running back go for 100-plus yards in a game. First time all season. And it came against the Panthers defense. And this is the highest scoring output, the 33 points for Green Bay. Highest scoring output since week 1 against Chicago. Red zone defense has been a struggle all season for this defense. Green Bay was 3 of 4 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So every single time the Green Bay Packers got inside the Carolina Panthers 20-yard line, the 4 times, 3 of them they scored. 3 out of the 4 times that the Packers defense got inside the red zone, inside their 20-yard line, they scored on 3 of the 4. 75%. This season, Carolina is about 71%, second to last in the NFL. Now, I get it. Much of the season, they dealt with a ton of injuries. A ton of injuries. But guess what? This is another, third straight week we've seen the defense pretty much as close to full health. I know Shaq Thompson still isn't playing because of the broken fibula. And there's a couple other guys like a defensive lineman that's out. And I know Amari Barno, who's a backup edge rusher, got hurt. But in terms of starters, your dudes are there. That's the difference between being a good defense and a great defense. What do you do in the red zone? Final thing, this team, much like last week, easily could have folded. Easily could have folded. You're looking at, it's 2-12. It's late in the season. Tomorrow's Christmas. We're trailing early. They're moving the ball at will. Could just say, you know what? Not our day. We got our win last week. Let's go unwrap presents. You know? Let's go unwrap presents. I want to set up the new PlayStation, the new Xbox, whatever it might be. But they didn't. Here's Chris Tabor, the interim head coach, just sharing his overall thoughts on the loss.
Tip my hat to the Packers. They made one more play than we did. And, that's what it was. I love the fight in our guys. We ran out of time. That's what happened. We ran out of time. Really pleased with obviously how the offense was playing. We talked about that all during the week. If you go all the way back to that last drive in the previous game to win it there, and then I thought it carried over today. So, yeah, we're growing in those things, but at the end of the day, we lost the game.
That's it. At the end of the day, you lost. That's all the good things. And I know a lot of people, even my co-host Chris Lee from Panthers Playbook podcast, which is out, by the way, on 99.9 The Fans YouTube page or wherever you find your favorite podcast. He says, yeah, you know what? They lost, but it kind of felt like a win just because of how well the offense played. Which, at this point of the season, I've never been big on moral victories, but if you want to talk about building off of things, yeah, there's a ton for you to build off of. Which leads me to my final point. Of all the turmoil that we have seen behind the scenes for this Panthers team, with the coaching staff from Frank Reich being fired, the reports of assistant coaches going directly to David Tepper, the owner, or the general manager, Scott Fitterer, and saying, hey, this is the problem over here. Like, we should be working on this, but no, we're doing this. All this other behind the scenes finger pointing and all this kind of bull crap going on behind the scenes. Guys on the field stuck together. That's what impressed me the most. The guys on the field stuck together. And I really do hope that Bryce Young was one of the guys driving that. Because if the rookie quarterback's one of the guys that's keeping things together, that's good for your culture moving forward. Because that team easily could have fractured at any point this season. But they didn't. I know they lost, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse. It's one thing to lose because you play well and the other team just beat you. Okay, it happens. You miss a call from a ref, it happens. But for you to beat yourself and fold, the fact they didn't do that shows a lot about some character for some of those guys in the locker room. So you got to give credit where credit is due.